Welcome to the Prepper Almanac. Thank you for joining us today. In today's video we are going to discuss 25 pioneer skills that will make a prepper self-sufficient. And yes, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if I give you value in today's video. I would be thankful. And feel free to share the video on your social media networks as well. That helps the channel out a ton and gets the message about prepping out further. If the off-grid way of life is calling to you, you already have an adventurous spirit. However, to succeed as a self-sufficient prepper, you also need to learn these basic pioneer skills. 1. Bartering and Trading. We can't all be proficient at everything. Therefore, successful preppers build a network of like-minded individuals with whom they can trade and barter. What services, products, and skills do you possess that you can trade with others for what you need? 2. Basic carpentry. Chicken coops, barns, decks, fencing, shelves, even play structures, there is no end to the things you may need or want to build on your homestead. Basic carpentry skills will come in handy to make repairs as well. Some carpenters and even home stores offer classes for beginners, and learning is best by doing. 3. Basic first aid. With all the work involved in running a homestead, minor injuries can be commonplace. Common sense, proper lighting, footwear, and equipment, for example, and foresight can prevent some of them but not all of them. 5 first aid skills everyone should know include: cleaning and dressing wounds, making a makeshift splint or sling, CPR treating shock, the Heimlich maneuver. The Red Cross offers first aid classes in many of these areas. 4. Beekeeping. Here's one you may not have thought of. However, the pioneers from years gone past needed bees to pollinate their crops and produce wax, and of course, their honey. That's why movable comb hives used to be a common presence in America. The endless supply of honey and wax for medicinal and rainproofing purposes should hopefully outweigh that. 5. Blacksmithing. Blacksmiths could repair anything from irons to wheels to fishing equipment to horseshoes to farm equipment and so on. In today's world, knowing how to repurpose metal and having the proper equipment to do so will be critical. The wonders that you can do with an anvil, hammer, and a hot forge are truly marvelous. Even though this is a very difficult skill to learn, even basic blacksmithing knowledge and experience will go a long way. 6. Butchering. Along with hunting and raising your own livestock comes the skill of butchering. An animal that is not properly cleaned and butchered can cause food waste and even illness. It is a complicated process that is best learned by working with someone who knows how to do it. 7. Candle making. Pioneers had to know how to make candles. After all, electricity, flashlights, and light bulbs were not around back then. That's why pioneers relied on simple tallow or beeswax candle as a light source, and as a source of warmth, inside indoor structures. While many pioneers would simply buy candles, others would actually build their own. At the very least, you can treat candle making as a fun hobby that you do on the side once or twice a week. 8. Food preservation. A savvy prepper stores the bounty from a hunting trip or a garden harvest for future use. Preserving food helps ensure you have enough to eat in harsh weather or in other emergency situations. The method you use depends on the food you are preserving and the space and equipment you have. Many preppers discover there is both art and science to food preservation. You will no doubt have some trial and error experiences, but there is nothing like opening the jar of summer peaches in the dead of winter. 9. Foraging. Foraging for food in the wilderness is an important life skill. Nuts, berries, mushrooms, and other plants can be an important food source in an emergency situation, and they can also be part of your regular meals. Familiarize yourself with the herbs, weeds, bushes, and trees in your local area and learn as much as you can about your ecosystem. 10. Gardening. Growing your own food is an essential part of a self-sufficient lifestyle. Whether you are growing fruit and vegetables in containers on a patio or in the ground in a large area of acreage, preppers need to know the basics of gardening. As you become more experienced, you will discover ways to cut your gardening expenses by recycling your containers and regerminating seeds. 11. Hunting and fishing. Depending on where you live, you can hunt fowl, deer, elk, or moose. If you are hunting or fishing off your own property, be sure to study the legal requirements for hunting and fishing in your local area. If you have never hunted before, don't worry, you can still learn. Some states offer workshops for beginners. 12. Making your own entertainment. Prepping is not just about working, it is an entire way of life. And that lifestyle includes time to relax and enjoy your family. As you become more self-sufficient, you'll also want to expand your abilities to create homemade, Low-tech fun. Bring out the puzzles and the board games. Learn card games and charades. Play musical instruments and sing together. Tell stories and read aloud as a family. 13. Milking. If you end up owning a cow on your property or homestead, this is something you'll need to learn to do. Milking a cow is something that most pioneers knew how to do. However, milk was actually used very rarely due to no pasteurization and poor storage conditions, but pioneers could still make other products such as butter or cheeses out of them. As you find more ways to become independent from the modern grid, remember to enjoy the new freedom that comes with the journey. 14. Natural remedies and herbalism. Pioneers often couldn't run to the drugstore for a remedy when they were feeling unwell. Instead, they relied on the knowledge of plants and herbs to treat various ailments. Learning about the medicinal properties of plants in your area, how to harvest them sustainably, and how to prepare herbal remedies is a valuable skill. 15. Navigation. Many people rely on GPS and other navigation systems without ever learning how to use a compass or a map. Modern systems are great tools, but they can fail. However, if you learn time-tested techniques for navigation, you'll be able to send yourself back in the right direction even in the wilderness. The best navigators are keenly aware of their surroundings. They pay close attention to the weather and to natural landmarks. 16. Rainwater collection and purification. Water is a crucial resource on a homestead. If you don't have a reliable well or stream, knowing how to collect and purify rainwater can be a lifesaver. Rainwater collection involves setting up barrels or other containers to catch rainwater from your roof or other surfaces. Purification can be as simple as boiling the water, or more complex methods like distillation or filtration might be necessary depending on the water's intended use. 17. Raising livestock. Even a small homestead can support a few animals to supply milk, eggs, and meat. The amount of space you have will determine whether you just raise chickens and rabbits or also larger animals such as cows, sheep, and goats. It's best to start small and work your way up the learning curve when it comes to raising livestock. 18. Rope making. Rope is an incredibly versatile tool, used for everything from tying down loads to forming clotheslines, and even for crafting handmade furniture. Knowing how to make your own rope from available materials like plant fibers or animal hair can be a valuable skill on a homestead. It may take some practice to master the twisting and braiding techniques, but the end result will be a useful and durable tool. 19. Sewing and weaving. With simple hand sewing skills, you can mend clothes, replace buttons, and darn socks. When you build upon these skills to make clothes for your family, you will save money and become more self-sufficient. There are many books and videos that teach basic sewing and weaving skills. 20. Shoe repair and cobbling. Footwear is essential for protecting your feet from harsh elements and rough terrains. Shoes and boots can wear out quickly on a homestead, so knowing how to repair them can prolong their life and save resources. Basic cobbling skills include understanding different types of shoes, knowing how to replace soles and heels, and being able to stitch up torn areas. 21. Soap making. Soap will serve many practical purposes in a grid-down scenario. Not only is it absolutely vital for cleaning/hygienic purposes and for keeping bad diseases at bay, it will also be a very valuable bartering tool. Like candle making, learning how to make soap does not have to be a difficult process. 22. Starting a fire and cooking over open fire. Two of the most ancient practical life skills are starting a fire and cooking over an open fire. Firewood should be as dry as possible and can vary in size from 1 to 5 inches in diameter. To create a fire pit, first clear away any vegetation or dead grass for 10 feet around. Then dig down into the bare soil for several inches, setting the loose dirt off to the side for use in case the fire gets out of hand. Now lay a bed of tinder about a foot in diameter in the center of the fire pit. Tinder is light, quick-burning material. In addition to commercial fire sticks and fire starters, there are many forms of tinder available on your homestead, including wood shavings, cardboard pieces, and dryer lint. For cooking, arrange your kindling in a teepee form over your tinder. Next, build a larger teepee of firewood over the kindling. With this format, flames will rise through the kindling to ignite the larger pieces of wood. 23. Tanning. Tanning hides and making leather is another important skill for the frugal homesteader. Not only will this skill help you better provide for your own family's needs, but you may be able to sell or trade your leather goods to others. 24. Weather prediction. Understanding weather patterns and being able to predict changes in the weather can be critical on a homestead. It can help you know when to plant or harvest, when to bring animals indoors, and when to prepare for potential natural disasters. 25. Well drilling. An essential part of independence from the grid is having your own water supply. Therefore, learning to find water and to dig a well are skills a prepper should know. A well is simply a hole in the ground that reaches deep enough to find underground water. In most locations, you can find water at less than 50 feet below the surface. After locating the water, the main components to a well are its casing, which in the simplest of pumps can be 4-inch PVC pipe, and its pump. As we wrap up today's video, if you have any questions or if there are any topics that you would like discussed in the future, let us know in the comment section below. We love to get video ideas from the community. And let us know what you think of today's video as well. We always appreciate input. Be sure to like today's video and subscribe to the channel to learn more about prepping, and share the video with others that may have a passion for prepping or are curious about prepping in general. And lastly, we have put some links to some prepper supplies that you might want to check out in the description below. Thanks for watching the Prepper Almanac.